My peoples, welcome to the recap video
Let's
for week
go.
number 3, baby.
Number 3.
Yo,
Look, you can see my tan line from not wearing my watch.
This
Anyway.
week was crazy, bro. Hey, if you guys haven't seen it, peep the shirt. Check out the shirt. Holy Stagg. We got the merch. Just press play. Boop. We got it right here for you guys. Let us know if you want to get a shirt. We got them. We'll ship them. We'll hand deliver whatever you want. Come support us because we love you. Hey, with that being said, man, we're going to get right into the thick of things.
Let's go.
Hey, we got to talk about this crazy Monday night game, bro, between the Chiefs and the Ravens. Back-to-back MVPs playing against each other, man. What did we see tonight, bro?
We expected this to be a ball-out game. You know, you're going Lamar Jackson versus Pat Mahomes. Everybody's watching on the edge of their seat before the game starts. But from there, I mean, everybody was kind of like... It got interesting for maybe 5 minutes in the third quarter, and that's about it, bro. Other than that, Pat Mahomes came out and showed why he's still the best quarterback in this entire league.
Yes.
4 touchdowns, almost 400 yards, and looked effortless.
Effortless, bro. I was expecting the Ravens defense to be the ultimate factor with this Monday Night Football game. You know, I was thinking, if Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson even themselves out, then we got to go look at the defense, right? And I can say the Chiefs defense is not as good as the Ravens defense. And my ultimate deciding factor was going to be on the Ravens. But the Ravens did not show up tonight, bro. They had no running game. They had no passing game. Their star tight end dropped I don't know how many passes tonight. And Pat Mahomes just spread it around the block. He was giving everybody a chance tonight. Kelsey had a big game. Hill had a big game. The running back, Hilaire, had a big game, bro. Everybody showed up except the Ravens, man. And it just shows you who is ready, who got the big paycheck, who is going to take it, who's going to be the AFC champion. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Pat Mahomes with his 10-year contract. I mean, that's just madness, man. Absolutely crazy, but...
He played up to his contract, man. Hey, but moving on, bro, we're going to talk about the primetime game for last night, which was the Packers versus the Saints in New Orleans. Bro, this
was a game.
Wild, bro. If you're a fantasy football owner and Alvin Kamara's on your team, you are so happy at this point. Am I right?
Absolutely. Alvin Kamara puts up 40 points, back-to-back 40-point games. Big ups to Michael Thomas being out because he had 13 receptions. 13 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. But don't forget about the other side of the ball. Devontae Adams out and Alan Lazard comes to eat. He puts up 6 receptions for 146 yards and a TD. You're also happy if you started this man, which is in most people's waivers.
Bro, let me tell you, Aaron Rodgers is in basically... I'm going to play for the life of my football career because he knows he's not going to stay with the Packers for too much longer. And he's going out there every single game showing them why or how stupid the Packers are to let him go. And he's basically auditioning for every other team in the league. Ultimately, the Packers succeed 37-30, show everybody why they're 3-0. And man, they did good doing it, bro.
And both quarterbacks put up 3 touchdowns apiece with 0 interceptions. Really shows their veteran status. They know how to secure the ball. And don't forget, at the end of the game, Rodgers had a touchdown at right around the 2-minute mark. And then Saints drive down, kick a field goal, and try to get that onside kick, but it just wasn't. They couldn't come up with it. So Packers go 3-0.
That's ultimately the decision. You know, when you're down 10 and you're driving, what do? Do you go for a touchdown, go for the field goal? You know, it's 50-50 at that point, but hey, Packers came out on top. We're going to move on to the next matchup. We're going to get the Seahawks versus the Cowboys, and this game was so entertaining, bro. I don't know if you got to watch it. A lot of the TV stations here on the West Coast didn't show it. But here on the Red Zone channel, we got to see every inch of it. And if your vote isn't for Russell Wilson, bro, you need to get the fuck out of here, okay? I'm sorry for cussing, but damn, this guy is balling, bro.
I mean, let Russ cook. Another 5-touchdown performance once again. And he fed Lockett like a hot pocket. Gave him 9 receptions for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Thank you. And you just can't say enough about Russell Wilson. He, in my opinion, is undoubtedly the leading contender for the MVP this year through 3 weeks of the NFL.
I agree. And dude, he could have had 6 touchdowns. There was a fucking play that DK Metcalf was showboating on his way in, and it got punched out and he fumbled, bro. He could have had 6 touchdowns. It could be 15 touchdowns. He already set the record for 14 touchdowns for the first 3 games. He could have had 15 touchdowns, man, if it wasn't for sophomore year DK Metcalf, who is undoubtedly what a beast of a receiver, bro. He could have had 1 more touchdown if that guy didn't secure the football before he went into the end zone, bro.
That's right. And this is another game that came down to the wire, just like the Packers and Saints. I mean, the Seahawks were actually down, and Russell Wilson came through, scored with just a few minutes left in the game. Dak gets the ball back with about a minute left, a minute and a half left. And what does he do at the end of the game? Throws an interception, chokes, and Russell Wilson takes the Seahawks 3-0.
Yeah, watch out for the Seahawks, man. What a great game that was. Next up, very surprising matchup, bro. Can you believe if anybody had to choose the upset of the week, this would be it, man. The Cardinals against the Lions. Who would have thought that the Lions could pull up this upset, man? What a great matchup, bro. Upset. I can't even begin. I don't even know where to start, bro.
It was a nail biter down to the end. Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray went back and forth, trading touchdowns. Matthew Stafford was pleasantly happy with Kenny G's performance, back in the lineup after being out for a couple weeks. He had that. Did you see that touchdown where he caught it like on the 3 or 4 yard line and just stretched out for that touchdown?
That's what he's been missing. It's what he's been. Can you honestly say that, like, the coincidence? You know what I mean? Like the way the planets align. Matt Stafford, Kenny Galladay equals win.
Absolutely. And Kyler Murray with a surprising 3 interceptions. So the Lions defense came to play. So when the Lions play as a team, you can see what it does to a really dominant looking Cardinals team. They've been owning the past couple weeks. And, they couldn't put up enough to handle the Matthew Stafford and the Lions. And Matt Prater seals the victory with the field goal, getting their first victory and of not only this season, but ending an 11-game losing streak, tracking back to last season. So congratulations to the Lions.
Incredible. Not to mention, one last thing, fantasy players out there, DeAndre Hopkins did have 10 catches for 137 yards.
This guy's going bananas.
Bananas catches. Bananas. Good for him. Next up, we got, I know you're happy, bro. We got the Buccaneers just doing what they should have done to the Denver Broncos, bro. They went to Denver, high altitude, you know what I mean, second string quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they mopped up the Denver Broncos, bro.
Listen, and this is a matchup that I anticipated Tom Brady to make a comeback. Last week, I felt was just a performance that was riddled by close touchdowns. He could have had 3 or 4 touchdowns last week alone, and this week he comes back and does score 3 touchdowns, goes for 300 yards, and a convincing win with that Bucs defense on the same page. Unfortunately for those fantasy players, may lose Chris Godwin for a couple weeks potentially due to a hamstring. He's getting an MRI done Monday. By the time you're seeing this video, you should see the results and see what's going on. And honestly, the Broncos' offense was nowhere to be found. I mean, Jeff Driscoll, he had a pick, a safety. The running game had nothing going, and they need some serious help. And now, after this game, they are 0-3. So, yikes! If you're a Broncos fan, yikes!
I don't see anything positive happening. They're riddled with injuries. On the defense, they just lost another big guy. He's a defensive lineman. They just lost him today, and it's just not looking good if you're a Bronco fan, and I feel for you. And the Buccaneers, this was the confident win they needed to really propel them, with the Saints losing and and the AFC or NFC South the way it's looking, this is definitely a confidence booster, man. But we're gonna roll on to the next one. Another surprise victory. We have the Carolina Panthers upsetting, in my opinion, the Los Angeles Chargers 21-16, bro. What happened in this game, dude?
I mean, this was a fairly low-scoring game, and it was back and forth. But, I mean, Herbert led the way again. I mean, he was putting up some major yards for the Chargers, and this Chargers team looks different with him in it. Yes. Give it up to him, and the people that are starting these fantasy players are excited. If you're starting Eckler, if you're starting Keenan Allen, even Hunter Henry, I mean, all of them get a major upgrade due to Herbert being in the game. But it just wasn't enough for the Panthers, dude. I mean, that coach, Matt Rule, getting his first victory with Teddy Bridgewater. Mike Davis comes through, okay, for fantasy owners. Got another 8 receptions. I mean, I'm pretty sure your hot take last week was under 15 points. So I don't know what you're about to take for this hot take, but I'm pretty sure I won that one. And then on top of that, the Panthers defense looks solid in holding those Chargers down. So what was your take on the game?
Herbert had some rookie mistakes in this game, honestly. He threw some interceptions that were uncalled for. A lot of things went wrong for the Chargers. If you look at the end of the game, the very last, drive, they had a beautiful play set up, this hook and ladder. Herbert hits Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen pitches it to Eckler. And Eckler misses it, bro.
It was this close.
And
this close.
They showed a different angle when Keenan Allen caught it, like from behind the quarterback. And if the pitch goes in, Eckler walks into the end zone, bro. And the game is a total different story. Everybody looks like a hero. But because of that one snap decision where Keenan Allen cannot get it to Eckler, totally screws everything up. Herbert looks like a joke. Panthers look like heroes. That is my take on it. I'm sorry that Mike Davis had 23 points or whatever the fuck. He did what his part was. He should be putting up those points with McCaffrey injured. But the Panthers came to play. They traveled across country, go into LA SoFi Stadium, and get the job done. Kudos to Teddy Bridgewater. Kudos to the Panthers, bro. We're going to move on to a very disappointing team in the New York Jets and a very surprising 2-1 team in the Indianapolis Colts, man. 36-7. They smoked Sam Darnold, bro. Tell me, how do you feel? What's going to happen with the Jets, bro?
I mean, the Jets are really just in shambles, dude. Sam Darnold has a meltdown with 3 picks. Le'Veon Bell is still going to be out for another week, which I really don't think he's going to be the difference maker. I mean, and the main problem, as we said last week, is Gaze. And what happened right after we posted that video? I mean,
there was people picketing outside the Jets facility. They were saying, "We fire Gates, and exactly what I told you. You said over week 6, bro. I said under week 6. If he doesn't win in the next 2 games, he's going to be fired, bro. You heard it here first.
We'll see. But Phillip Rivers throws just 1 touchdown, but it just so happened to be his 400th touchdown pass. So give it up to Phillip Rivers. But the true star for the Colts was not Phillip Rivers. It was not Jonathan Taylor. It was definitely not T.Y. Hilton.
Who was it?
It was the Colts defense coming through with 2 touchdowns on defense, putting up 25 fantasy points.
I don't think the true star was the Colts defense. I think the true star was Sam Darnold for the Colts. For the Colts, bro. He was their MVP, man. He threw 2 pick sixes, man. He had more pick sixes than he did touchdowns, and that's for the season. And the Jets are, honestly, they're looking at their next quarterback, which is most likely Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, even though Sam Darnold was a first-round pick 3 years ago. It's sad that the Jets are already looking forward to the next draft pick because they are absolutely garbage.
Well, they got someone to compete with. They got a couple teams to compete with for that number 1 spot. We'll get to those in a minute.
We're moving on to the next one, bro. Next one, we got the Steelers versus the Texans. And this game was surprisingly entertaining. I know myself had the Steelers winning by a bunch, but man, did Houston made it very entertaining. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this was a very close game. I think people anticipated the Steelers to hold that recently bad Texans offense the way Deshaun Watson has been performing. And instead, Deshaun Watson comes out and he's firing. He scored 2 touchdown passes. The Texans go into halftime up versus the Steelers. But, you know, James Conner and that Steelers offense comes out and responds in the second half. The Houston Texans went scoreless the second half. Absolutely quiet.
So give credit to the Steelers defense in the second half, because they woke up. They got some talking at halftime, and the coach said, "Listen, we don't let people score 21 points on us in the first half." And what the fuck did they do? They came out. They shut them down the second half. They didn't let no more points, and they let Big Ben work, bro, in the second half.
That's right.
Crazy game, bro. Listen, hey, the Steelers did what they had to do. Next up, we got put in your exactly. Put in your mouthpiece, bro. Take your Ambien and take your ass to bed with the snooze fest, man. The Bengals,
this is what I was talking about, where Jets have some competition. Jets have some competition
against the Eagles, 2 winless teams. Somebody got to win, right? No, nobody wins. Nobody wins. It ends in a 23-23 tie. I mean, should we be worried about Carson Wentz right now, bro?
Dude, this game was honestly hard to watch. It reminded me of like a freshman high school football game. Like, you have each side just, you know, who's going to perform worst. You know what I mean? It's like, who's going to perform least worst is the type of game we're watching. Even just watching the overtime, it was like 3 and out. It's like, make something happen. There was nothing good, nothing fun out of this game. Not even a whole lot exciting going on for fantasy football wise. And I mean, honestly, I'm just ready to talk about the next game. These two teams need to get their shit together.
If I had Tyler Boyd and I talked about starting Tyler Boyd, I probably would have started him. Because he was the best star in this game, you know. And I'm not pointing any fingers.
I was kind of trying to.
I'm not saying anybody on this chat
Listen. I have my reason.
But if I did have Tyler Boyd and I talked so highly of him and I talked about starting him and I still didn't start him, it says a lot about how I feel about my team and not only Tyler Boyd. So we're going to move on to the next game.
Hold on. In my defense, let's make something clear. He's talking about our fantasy football team. Where my team is so stacked, I didn't know who to start because I have too many options. And I'm sorry, what's your record in our fantasy football league?
Guilty conscience, bro. So listen, the next game,
you look like the Bengals. No, you look like the Jets. You're the Adam Gaze of our fantasy football league.
New York Giants, against the San Francisco 49ers. The injury plague.
So Josh Stagg versus the 49ers. Bro. That's what you're saying.
The injury plague San Francisco 49ers, bro. And what we thought was going to happen actually happened, man. What's sad is that this team can lose their star running back. They still have a first-round draft pick and a quarterback and still can only produce 9 points, dude. And Nick Mullins is the quarterback for the Niners.
Look. Let me go through the list, okay? 49ers were without their starting quarterback. They were without their first-string running back. They were without their second-string running back. They were without their first-string wide receiver, without their first-string tight end, and 3 defensive players out, including the star Nick Bosa.
Wow.
And still had a dominating win. I mean, it's the Giants, so I'm not getting too excited. But at the same time, just like we talked about last week, this is what I'm talking about, the next man up mentality and doing what we need to do. And the Niners looked extremely good. Regardless of being riddled with injuries, they came out to play. And Giants just looked atrocious. I mean, I can't think of a worse word to describe the Giants. I mean, between their 3 running backs, Deion Lewis, Devontae Freeman, and Wayne Gallman, they put up 17 rushing yards. Daniel Jones went for 179 through the air, but an interception and a fumble. No touchdowns.
Trash,
bro. I mean, and there's just little to no hope. Again, they're in the race to maybe get the first round pick for next year. So that's the fourth team that's in the race.
Yeah. So. There's no more reason to talk about this game. 49ers blow them out. Next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders 2-0 against the New England Patriots. And what happened, bro? The Patriots bring the Raiders back down to earth and really show exactly what a quality football, championship football team running up and down the field and really put the Raiders in the place that they deserve, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, so the Raiders actually came out competing. They went up first, and then Patriots responded, and then the Vegas Raiders responded right back. But they took over in the second half. The Patriots really took control of the game. They went in after halftime. Bill Belichick drew something up on his sweater and fucking came out second half and just owned them. I mean, that defense really played lights out second half. And, you know, the performance from Rex Burkhead, 3 touchdown day. I mean, you can't talk about this game and not... No one started him. And, I mean, some people probably have James White on their team, but, you know, unfortunately, prayers go out to his family. You know, he had that crazy, crazy car accident with his mom and dad in there. Dad didn't make it. Mom is in critical condition, so... You know, I'm happy that he's not playing in at home with his family. But back to football. Rex Burkhead is an interesting waiver wire pickup while James White is out. You know, is this somebody that you would recommend starting in your lineups? Maybe in a flex position?
Yeah, definitely. But I also bet, based off Sonny Michel's performance the first 2 weeks, I'm sure he's on the waiver. And Hunter Renfrow, surprisingly, shows up out of nowhere and has a
Did you see his
game,
crazy double team catch?
Yes.
And they had the audacity to call it not a touchdown. Yes. They called him down on like the half-yard line. That was insane. But that boy Renfrow can play, dude. He can absolutely play.
Yeah.
But you know who can play better?
His name, bro.
Who plays better is the Pats defense, and they sealed the game. It wasn't Cam Newton this time. It was really the running game with Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, and stopped by that Pats defense. They finished the game with a strip sack, which was pretty controversial because first it was ruled a safety, and then because it was a scoring play, they had to review it,
and it was
reviewed it, and it was a touchdown. So so controversial, but either way, it was more than enough points. Regardless, it would have been more than enough points to put away the Raiders this week, unfortunately. But Derek Carr will be back next week, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
On to the next one, bro. We got the Titans versus the Vikings. And as a Vikings fan, this was extremely hard to watch. My team is in shambles, bro. I am so sad and so mad. At the same time, I'm looking at any bit of positive. I'm looking at Dalvin Cook going for 180 yards and a touchdown. I'm looking at my rookie wide receiver, 175 and a touchdown. Like, I'm looking at all these positives, and yet our defense is terrible, man. We can't stop anything, bro. I'm so sad, but I'm so happy. I mean, tell me, how do I feel right now, man? What do you want from me?
Justin, first of all, the rookie you're talking about is Justin Jefferson, for anybody who doesn't know. He might be in your waiver wires for some people, and if he's not, then you know, maybe somebody that you can try and pick up next week. But the Titans really came to play, bro. With the comeback, Derrick Henry got it done. He had back-to-back like goal line touchdowns in a matter of minutes because that defense forced a turnover right on the goal line, bro. So, I mean, that was really the turn of events that started this whole comeback from the Titans. And at the end of the day, the unsung hero is Steven Gostkowski going 6 for 6 after putting up a terrible performance in week 1. Scores 25 fantasy points. And another guy you want to look at on your waiver wire.
Stupid, bro. Stupid. Just the Vikings luck.
The Vikings almost had it. You're like, you almost got it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the Vikings go 0-3 and the Titans go 3-0. Let's go.
All right. Next up, bro, we're gonna talk about the Browns versus the stupid Washington football team. Man, they don't even have a mascot, bro. Washington,
a big W
team.
Walking around. West Coast? Did they get one of the West Coast Connect games?
Exactly. Listen, there's only one bright side to this game, and the bright side is Nick Chubb. If you know anything about Nick Chubb, you have him in any of your leagues, you are the happiest person on this earth.
This man really had a huge game, and the running backs in Cleveland are impeccable. I mean, these two running backs combined look like Jim Brown. I'm just kidding. So, no, seriously though, they put up, between the both of them combined, they are the best duo in the league. They combined for over 180 total yards between receiving yards and rushing yards, and they combined for 3 touchdowns. Last week they combined for 4 touchdowns. I mean, these two guys are doing it all over the ground, making the work for, Baker Mayfield extremely easy, and making it easier for him to hit that play action. But one major news or topic we need to talk about this game is Chase Young being out with an injury. I mean, hopefully he comes back soon, but
he got hurt.
That star rookie went 2nd pick overall last year, and they're hoping they can get him back as soon as possible, because that's really the Washington saving grace on defense.
Yeah, man. What a great game. Kudos to the Browns, but yeah, you really
it was competitive until the Browns put up 17 points, uncontested 17 points in the fourth quarter to shut this one out.
You really hope that Chase Young is going to be okay. But hey, man, we're going to move on to the next game. We got this game was very entertaining. We got the LA Rams against the Buffalo Bills. Now, if you ask me, when I look at this game on paper, I'm thinking, Rams are in the East Coast, they're in New York. Early game, it's going to be really hard for them to compete with the Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia, you know what I'm saying? Like, just crazy. just the environment alone, fans or no fans, it's going to be hard for them. And, bro, the Bills came out and just mopped them up the first half. Start of the second half, you're like, oh, man, 28-7, 28-10. Like, this shouldn't even be a game, bro. How did it end so close? What happened, bro?
I'll tell you what happened. Bills came out red hot, bro. Red hot. Josh Allen, this guy is playing out of his mind. Out of his mind. Had another performance, a four touchdown game. And, this guy is playing better than almost every quarterback except for Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah.
But he comes out red hot, and the Rams make a big comeback in the second half. Aaron Donald comes out with a huge strip sack. If you saw that, he ripped that ball out of there. Aaron Donald is the undisputed best defensive tackle for a reason. And, something pretty interesting. These Bills just don't give up. And you got to give it up to them. They have this one drive where Devin Singletary takes the ball, what looks like, to the end zone. They call it short. Okay? And then they go next play, and Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs. Touchdown. They call it a penalty. What do they do the very next play? Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs again. Touchdown. They had to score basically 3 times just to call it 1 touchdown. And at the end of the game, though, the way this game finished was a controversial pass interference.
Very controversial.
That was maybe he still had his hands. I think it was mainly because the ball was already in the air.
And he was still touching him?
He was still touching him. He was basically within that 5-yard bump, but the ball was already in the air and you can't touch him. But that was maybe worse than the last time, that Saints versus Rams game 2 years ago, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
So yeah, kudos to the Bills showing perseverance, going back down there, not letting that crazy lead, the crazy comeback, and going on to win.
And right after that controversial pass interference, very next play, Josh Allen touchdown.
Scores.
These guys earned it. I'll just put it that way. These guys earned it. Anyways.
So I'm gonna take what happened in that game and I'm gonna roll over to the next game and say that the Falcons should learn from the Bills, because the Falcons, if you are a betting man and you are watching football on Sunday and you see the Falcons have a lead at halftime and you think that they're gonna win, they're not. They're not.
It doesn't matter if Next Gen says it's 98%.
99%.
I mean, that's actually a great time to cash in on some bets.
It doesn't matter. If the Falcons are winning at halftime, you need to go empty your bank account and put all your money on the team that is losing, because 2 weeks in a row, these guys have given up a stupid lead and end up losing. But this week, there's only one person we can give the credit to for this win, bro. Who is that person?
That is the man who stepped up from the bench, Nick Foles, the former
MVP.
Super Bowl MVP for the Eagles. Come in. We talked about this guy last week. Why aren't they playing him? They paid him to not play him. Mr. Trubisky played so trash for the first half. Coach said, you know what? Go warm up that bench. Nick Foles comes in almost on the first play, scores a touchdown. Almost. He was like this close. And but right after that, this man still threw 3 touchdowns in just 2 quarters. A little less than 2 quarters. I mean, this guy gave them the spark that they needed. Allen Robinson came out big. 10 receptions, 123 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Wow.
And they just couldn't close. The Bears closed it 20. They had 20 uncontested points in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, just 20 points. It was 26-10 going into the fourth quarter. How do you lose that lead?
You know how you lose? You're the Chicago Bears. I mean, just kidding. You're the Atlanta Falcons, bro. That's how you lose it, because you did it the week before, so you're used to doing it. So you're like, oh, who cares if it happens again? Just bend over, bro.
And no excuse that Julio Jones was out, regardless of Julio Jones being out due to his hamstring. I mean, they had such a dominating lead. They need to just keep that ball on the ground, but they can't run for some reason. Actually, they did do pretty good on running this game, but they need to find a better way to manage that clock. And they haven't been able to do it for the past 2 to 3 years. So
they're in their head, bro. They're in their head,
absolutely. So Falcons go 0-3, surprisingly. And even more surprising, Bears go 3-0. So.
Very surprising. Hey, but last but not least, bro, we're going to talk about the Thursday night matchup. This was the game that really set it off for all of us for week number 3. And the Jaguars went out and played the Dolphins and surprised all of us, man. I can tell you 9 out of 10 of my friends were betting that the Jaguars would blow out the Dolphins, man. Tell us what happened, bro.
What they really expected is for Minshew to come out and play the way he had week 1 and week 2. A lot of people picked this guy up on waivers, started him as a streamer, and he just took a dump right on the field. And what did Ryan Fitzmagic do, who was also on waivers, who you could have also picked up, puts up 25 fantasy points. This guy was red hot. He threw 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and Minshew was nowhere to be found.
And I love how you said Fitzmagic, bro. You didn't even say Fitzpatrick. You said Fitzmagic, as if this guy, for some reason on Thursday nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights, for some reason in prime time, this guy is magical, dude. At one point, he was out rushing the entire team because he's taking it, on 4th and 4 and 3rd and 5. Like, he's running the ball, not running out of bounds. This guy
kind of reminds me of, in a weird way, is Brett Favre, man. I know that that's a stretch, right? He's not going to ever put up the points he does, but the way he plays, he's kind of just like in his backyard and just kind of like, and just slinging the rock. He's not afraid of anything. Whenever he runs the ball, he's running kind of slow, but he will put his head down and try to get that extra yard and fall forward. And I love seeing that kind of gameplay. Look for Ryan Fitzmagic to have another big week next week. Look for him in your waivers. But the Jaguars did have a glimmer of spark, and that was in James Robinson, the absolute waiver wire pickup of the year thus far. I mean, this guy looked unreal, man. I mean, he looked like the Maurice Jones-Drew back in the day with the Jaguars.
Yes, he did.
He was all over the place, catching the ball. scoring touchdowns through the air, on the ground. I mean, this guy, they had no answer for this guy. And, you know, but it wasn't enough. It was nowhere near enough for these Dolphins to eat their way all the way to the win.
I mean, that pretty much wraps it up, bro, for week number 3. We so much appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're going to put some stamps on the bottom so you can pick and choose which team you want to hear and how shitty they did. We love you guys so much. Peep the merch. Please let us know if you want a shirt, a hat, whatever it is. We love your support. Like, subscribe, give us some comments. Tell us what you think. Give Angel some credit, man. He's the man behind all of this. No amount of love or thanks can go to everybody that watches these videos, man.
Hey, man, I'm just the Alex Kellerman to your Stephen A. Smith, man. Let's go, baby. ESPN, right, here guys. We come. Thank you guys for supporting. We appreciate you guys.
Peace.